Hey you guys, so today I'm making a video about certain questions that I've been getting on my YouTube channel about me being here in Alaska. Unfortunately, I miss questions. I may go by days, weeks, and I do apologize because I do not mean to miss people's questions, but for some reason I don't get the notifications to my phone. If I got the notifications, I promise I would answer you ASAP. So today I was like, let me just do a video about all the questions I'm asked. I appreciate each and every one of you who watch my videos. Literally, I started doing these YouTubes for a hobby because when I first moved to Alaska, I was bored for one. And two, I was like, let me just highlight Alaska to people who have never been here before. So I am very appreciative to each and everyone who watched my videos. And of course, very grateful to the people who comment and ask me questions, because if you haven't noticed, I have the gift of gab. I love to talk. I do. My husband gets tired of me. I literally can talk all day. And my kids are just like me. It's genetic. It is. Crazy enough, my mom doesn't like to talk, but anyway, I was going through some of the videos, and today just to make a small quick video about some of the questions that you guys have been asking about me being in Alaska, and I decided to answer them for you. So let's get started on the video. All right, so for our first question was, what are we doing in Alaska? It's crazy because you're probably like, what's some black people doing up in Alaska? We don't like the cold like that. Yeah, I've been saying that since I got here. But if you guys do not know, we are here because my husband is in the Army active duty, and we got stationed at Fort Wainwright, Alaska in November of 2021. We have been here, it'll be 2 years, of course, this November coming up. And when I say it was a surprise that I found out we got stationed here, it was a surprise. I literally was not thinking, out of all the places the Army could have sent my husband. Why would you send us, people that's from the South, me from Mississippi, him from Atlanta, Georgia? Why would you send us to a place where it is freezing cold and below temperatures the majority of the year? Yeah, it was a shock. But I will tell you this. Yeah, it was a shock, but I am very thankful for the experience. One thing I will say about the military is you always get different experiences, different food, experiencing different people, new places. And how many people can say they actually been to Alaska? You got to think about that. So yes, that is why we're here. We basically, the Army bamboozled us and stationed us here in Fort Wainwright when I just went to Anchorage not too long ago. You gotta watch my other video, and probably would have rather been there, but you know, everything happened for a reason. So my next question was, what do I think about the dark and the winter? So when I first got here, I really didn't care too much for the dark. I wasn't like everyone else. If you are new to Alaska and you meet people and you ask them, you know, what they think about the dark, people who have been here for a while, they say that you get really depressed. And a lot of people I know was talking about buying happy lights. My husband, on the other hand, loves the dark because he like to sleep like 14 hours a day. Who can do that? That's so unnatural. I barely can sleep 8, let alone 12 and 14 hours. But he loves it because literally it starts getting dark, I want to say around like the second or third week of November. It's one day out of November where like the winter solstice start, and it's starting dark like at 2:30 in the afternoon. And it stays dark from that time all the way up until like 10 a.m. in the morning. And then as the days go by, it goes from like 3:30 to 10, and then like 4:30 to 9. So as the months start going by, then you'll see less darkness. But for the months of, I want to say from November all the way until, I want to say, the beginning of February or either the end of January, it is dark. It didn't bother me. Well, it did kind of bother me when it's time to drive. Because as you know, the roads here are horrible. And I never dealt with snow in the South. So coming here dealing with snow driving, that's not my thing. I always prefer to drive in the daytime because I can see the roads more and see the cars and stuff. It's very hard to drive at night here in the wintertime because think about it. You're driving at night. Everybody have their lights on. You barely can drive because you're slipping and sliding in the ice and snow, and the snow is falling down. So you really can't see that good. And it just makes it worse versus when you're driving in the daytime, you can actually see, me personally, in my opinion, you can actually see through the snow better when it's snowing because it snows a lot. Between the months of November and February, especially December, January, February, it snows a lot. I'm talking about like out of a 7-day week, it snows probably 4 to 5 of them. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of days. You be outside trying to beat the snow. You're like, I'm trying to go out here and do what I need to do or whatever, and you get caught in it. And I used to hate that because I already can't see. I cannot. I have contacts and I barely can see already. So yeah, that's what I think about, the darkness. As for the winter, the winters here are extremely harsh. I will say last year, 2022, was way better than 2021. Apparently, the universe thought it was super fun to put us here in 2021 when it was the worst winter, apparently, like in 5 to 7 years that Fairbanks had ever had. It snowed literally every day. And then on top of that, it ended up sleeting. So it was ice. And it took forever for that ice and snow to melt. That ice and snow did not melt until like the first week of May. It was literally just that bad. I don't like the fact of going outside in so many layers. Like when it gets to be the negative temperatures, like negative 20, 25, 33. The worst I've ever dealt with was last year, and I think it was negative 42. And the wind in your face hurts. Your eyelashes is freezing. My husband's nose hairs was freezing. It is horrible, and you have to layer up so bad. Think about when you're going out, especially the kids, trying to catch the bus out there. I used to, mostly every house on post has I want to say a cold room. A snow room? I'm probably saying it so wrong. It's something like that. I want to say a cold room. A mud room. That's what they call it. They call it a mud room. So it's basically just a little area where you can come in, I guess, and take off all your snow gear. And I used to just make my kids either stand there or they would get in the living room, and I would just make them open the blinds so they could see the bus. Because luckily the bus stop is right in front of my house. Thank God for that. And my kids, once the bus pulled up, they would just run out there and get on it. But the fact of being out there and you got to have on your gloves, your big old coat, snow pants. You got to be layered from head to toe. Who wants to do that multiple times a day? Because you're doing it multiple times a day, especially the kids. They're doing it to go to school. They're doing it for recess, and then they have to do it to come back home. It is. You do get acclimated to the weather here. Crazy enough, yes, because sometimes when it's snow, it could be like 25 degrees. Now, 25 degrees in the South is freezing cold to us, especially all Southern people. But here, once we got acclimated to the weather, 25, 29 degrees and it's snowing just felt like a cool day to where you could wear like just a light coat or something, not like a big old puffy coat like you would if it was like negative temperatures. A light coat. The winters here, I love looking at them, especially for Christmas time, because we don't get to have white Christmases in the South. So between Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, I'm all about the snow. I feel like once New Year's is over, it's time for you to go. And it starts snowing here in October. So if you are like excited about trick-or-treating, just know you will be trick-or-treating in the snow. Yes, you will. And I took my kids trick-or-treating last year just for the experience. It was fun, but it was cold as hell. And you had some good parents that was actually on the side, outside with their costumes and stuff, passing out candy. I'm talking about was sitting out there for like 1 or 2 hours. Like, I don't think I could do that. Sit outside for 1 or 2 hours. So I'm going to have much respect for the parents who was outside waiting for children and passing out candy for 1 or 2 hours because it was freezing. You know how normally, if the weather had been warm or something, how you are staying in a certain neighborhood, you're only trick-or-treating in a neighborhood, and you're walking from house to house. No, I drove from house to house. Yes, I did. I drove with my kids. They had their costumes. They had on coats. I should have had them more bundled up, but they wanted to show their costumes. But I know this year I'm going to probably do it differently. I'm going to try to give out candy this year because I didn't. I just set my candy dish outside and took the other kids. So this year I'm probably going to stay at home and give out the candy. But yes, the dark doesn't bother me as much. I'm good with it. It helps me sleep. I mean, if you had to pick, you sleep way better when it's super dark for that long amount of time than you do right now in June when it's summer and it's daylight all day. And if I had to pick, I would honestly take the dark. Sounds crazy, I know, but I don't get sleep like that. So to get some good sleep, I would take the dark. And the winters here, they're tragic. The winters here are tragic, but it's Alaska, so that's how it's supposed to be. All right. Which housing community do I live in? So I live in Denali Village. It's a 5-bedroom, 2.5 bath. I have like a small back porch that's fenced in, which I love. 2-car garage. It has heated floors all through the house, and also the garage is heated too, which I love. It's so neat. Like, this is my first time ever experiencing like heated floors. I've never in life lived in a place that have heated floors. I personally love my house. I think that it is nice. My husband, for some reason, didn't like the setup, but for me, I like it. Hey, do we have our cars winterized? So we only have one vehicle. We have a Ford Flex, and no, we do not have it winterized. Why? When we first got here, we were super broke. Super broke. Moving here, the Army depleted our savings with staying in hotels because we had to stay in a hotel for like a month and a half, buy our own groceries, all that. And you know how the Army is when it comes to paying you back. Yeah, we're still waiting on that, by the way. But anyway, we were broke when we got our vehicle. And to get it winterized, from what my husband told me, was like $700 to $800 for our Ford Flex. And my husband was like, nah, I will put that money on some food. We can't afford that. So by the time we were able to afford it, we were like, we've been riding this long, without it being winterized. We're good. Plus, we keep our truck in the garage, and the garage is heated. So no, we do not have our car winterized. My husband did tell me that if you have a smaller vehicle, it costs us $300 to $500 to get that winterized. So I say if you got the money, do it. But if you feel like, hey, I can manage without it, we're on year 2. I've done 2 winters here already. About to be on my 3rd winter, and I feel like if I could get by 2 winters without getting my car winterized, I'm gonna go the next one, because this winter right here is gonna be our last winter here. So hey, I'm gonna ride it on out till the wheels fall off. How are the schools here? So my kids, because of the neighborhood that we live in, my kids go to school off post. My youngest is turned 5 in February, so she finally get to leave the house. I'm actually going to be kidless. This is the first time in nearly almost 14 years, because my oldest will be 14 in November. So this is going to be the first time in 14 years I'm going to be kidless. Praise God. Hallelujah. I'm excited about it. But my oldest, she goes to Tanana Middle School. And my 11-year-old is thinking about transitioning there too, just to be with her older sister. It was crazy. They fight each other all the time, but yeah, y'all want to go to the same school, whatever. Just weirdos, both of them. But Tanana Middle, from what I know, is actually a really good, decent school. My 7-year-old Carter, she goes to LAD. LAD is actually an amazing school. I've went to certain programs and stuff they've had there. And my 5-year-old will be going to LAD as well. Now, from Post, the only school I know on post is going to be North Star. And the buses don't run for that school. All the kids have to walk to that school. Either their parents take them to school or they have to walk because it's right in the neighborhood. And I know one of the neighborhoods is called Bear Paw. Literally is right across the street. So I know that neighborhood for sure, Bear Paw. They go to that school. The other neighborhoods, I don't know their names. But because on our side of Denali Village, since our kids go off post, the buses do pick them up every day, which I love because we only have one car at the moment. And my husband be at work and I work from home. So that is a blessing to me that my kids actually are able to ride the bus every day. So for me, I actually think the schools are decent. I haven't had any complaints with Ladd or Tanana since I've been here. So how are their summers here in Alaska? The summers here in Alaska are bipolar, super bipolar. I will tell you that the summers here, looking wise, it's beautiful. The nice, beautiful trees, the blue sky, white clouds, beautiful flowers. But then let's get to the bad part. The mosquitoes that are tearing you up. I mean, the 24-hour daylight, it could go both ways. It could be good for some reasons and also bad for some reasons. Bad because you're going to have a hard time trying to sleep unless you cover your windows. And good because if you work a late night job and you like to hang out with friends, who knows what time it is. It's still daylight, so you can do whatever you want to do. Now, as far as the temperature is bipolar because last week we were going through some like coldness to where it was like 40 degrees. This was last week. Yes. And I think this week is like in the 60s. The week before that, it was in the 70s. And that's what got me to tell my husband, like, we need to buy air conditioner because I'm not doing this. I did this last year. I'm not doing this again. We're buying the air conditioner and we got it. And literally the only time we use it is at night because me and my husband like the room to be freezing like a blizzard. Because even in the wintertime, we leave the window open. So our room feels like a blizzard and we just like sleep with a bunch of blankets. That's what we do. So the summers here have been super crazy. I will say, fingers crossed, we do not have to deal with wildfires like we did last year. The wildfires took me out last year. I didn't even know they had wildfires in Alaska. I thought it was California for a minute. But yes, last year the wildfires took us out. We've been blessed to not have any this year, and I'm hoping it continues. I did look at the temperatures, and this coming week is supposed to be back in the 70s, so I guess I will be turning on my air conditioner all day next week. The summer's here. I think beautiful. It's kind of fun to be outside. I've heard they have beautiful lakes here. I haven't been. I'm going to try to see one, try to get to one with my kids. But other than that, I love the summers here. Like, if you exclude the mosquitoes and the wildfires, those to me are like probably the two baddest things of the summer. I can deal with the all day daylight because we went and got covers for our windows and blackout curtains, so I can deal with that. But if you delete the mosquitoes and you delete the wildfires, Alaska is the most beautiful place for summer. Last but not least, how do I like Alaska? So when I first moved here, I was super depressed. I had no friends, no job, no nothing. I felt like I got bamboozled to move to a place where there was no civilization at all. But after being here for a while, actually meeting new people, going to certain places, experiencing Anchorage, Alaska for the first time a few weeks ago. Because if anybody come here to Fairbanks and they're like, it's nothing to do here, I'm not feeling this place, why do people want to live in Alaska? I'll tell you why people want to live in Alaska. For places like Anchorage. Because it's so beautiful. Not saying that Fairbanks isn't beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It is. Especially the summers here beautiful. Winter here is beautiful. But no. Anchorage have so much to do. And so many places to go eat at. So when people be like, it's so boring in Fairbanks, go to Anchorage. There's a lot for you to do. And to be honest, the fact that I've been here for almost 2 years, There are actually things to do in Fairbanks. I used to talk real crap and be like, oh my God, it's nothing to do here, so boring. They actually have so many things to do, whether you're doing something at the Spur, you're doing something at the restaurant Roundup, like having like little events and stuff. They're supposed to be having like a food truck event here next week, next Friday, and I'm gonna be the first thing smoking up in there. I'm gonna be there. They're gonna have a food truck event, I think the week after, in North Pole. So there are things to do here. The thing is, you just have to be on Facebook to see the events. Like if you are not really active on Facebook, you're not gonna see anything because people don't really tell you things word of mouth here. I've noticed, because I've missed out on a lot of events. Somebody will be like, hey, you heard about this happened last week. I'm like, no, nobody told me. So one thing I've learned about Fairbanks, if no one puts it on Facebook, you're not gonna see it. And it's crazy because it's been some events, like a few weeks ago, my husband wanted to get some wings from the Spur, and we ended up on a bodybuilding contest there. Didn't even know. Hadn't even heard about it. I didn't even see it on Facebook. And it was super packed. And we was like, what's going on there? It's like 6 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a bodybuilding contest. And it was actually pretty fun. It was pretty fun. It was pretty neat. So, yes, it is a lot of things to do here. You just have to watch around and like listen to people talk about things. Also, something that I want to experience, and I'm so sad that I wasn't able to do it, in Denali Park. Denali Park is like 2 hours away from here. They have ATV riding and zip lining. I wanted to go so bad, but of course I'm not off on Monday. I'll be working because my friend invited us for Sunday, and it's going to be a 2-hour drive there and then a 2-hour drive back. And I'm not going to want to go to work on Monday morning. No. But my husband is off. Lucky him. Yes, so lucky. The Army gets like every holiday off. But me, of course, I'm going to be working. But I'm starting to like it. You know, it's taken a while. But I'm going to say this. It's not as bad as I thought it was when I first got here. Is actually a whole lot better. And I told my husband this is literally going to be our last full year here because we leave in the fall of next year with PCS. And I told him I'm going to experience everything I did not last year, because all I did was sit at home and complain last year and was sad. I'm not doing that this year. And I'm not. I have taken my family to Anchorage. We have went to certain events. Every time we see an event on Facebook and we're able to go, we go to it. I am going to stay out as much as I can, especially this whole summer before we be locked down for the rest of the winter in the darkness. So, yes, from right now, I'm enjoying Alaska, and I'm excited to see what other journeys and experiences Alaska have for me. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed my video. Please don't stop commenting. Please ask me more questions. I love to answer questions. And when I get all your questions, I would, of course, make a video to tell you my answer. I'm so sorry about the people that I didn't reply to. Very sorry. Sometimes life just gets the best of us and get away from us. But ask away, and I will continue to answer away. I hope you guys have a great day.